And good afternoon to everybody that's joining us from each and every single part of the world. My name is Bangim Sikinya, and I'm going to be hosting this particular conversation that we are holding with Ambassador Extraordinaire of the Republic of Indonesia to South Africa, Mr. Salman Al Farisi, alongside his office. But I'm going to be hosting this with Miss Pinky Mokemani, who also joins us from Johannesburg. And before we speak to the ambassador and his team, Pinky, good afternoon and welcome to you.
Thank you. How's it?
I'm good. I'm good. So good to see you. Actually in sleeves.
You
Is it
know
warm?
what?
Is it warm in Joburg?
It's warm in Joburg, but I was about to comment that from all of us, I think Bangi deserves to win the best background.
Well, I'll take that award any day. And joining us on this conversation today is obviously the ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to South Africa, Mr. Salman Al Farisi. Good afternoon and welcome to you, sir.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be part of this event indeed.
We're absolutely excited to have you here. And I believe you are not alone. You've got your team that's joining you with us. And can you please kindly introduce some of your team, your colleagues that you work with that are on the chat with us?
Sure, sure. My pleasure indeed. I have here, I'm accompanied by my colleague, Mr. Arif Ramadan. He is the head of the economic section of the embassy. Also accompanied by Mr. Michael Pasaribu. He is also staff of the economic section. So since our topic mostly on the economic issue, then I think it's appropriate to have them also with us.
That is great, absolutely. Thank you, and good afternoon, and welcome to the other gentlemen that are joining us.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you, Ambassador, for introducing us.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ambassador.
All right, so if I could kick things off with a little bit of background to our viewers at home, what we're doing here today. We're having a conversation, as mentioned, with the Ambassador Extraordinaire of the Republic of Indonesia to South Africa, Mr. Salman Al Farisi, alongside with his office. And the conversations that we're having is about, what their involvement is with the South African Republic and what it is that we can possibly gain from them and what it is that they stand to gain by being in South Africa. Now, in case you didn't already know this, some interesting facts and stats about Indonesia is that they're a country of a population of some 270 million people, which makes it 4 times bigger than South Africa. And they are situated in southeast Pacific Ocean of Asia. And they are a country that culminates of no less than 17,500 islands, which I found fascinating. I've never even been to more than 20 countries in my lifetime. I wonder how many Indonesians have actually been to all those islands, but I'm sure we'll get some of that from the gentleman in the conversation today. And as mentioned, as hinted by the ambassador, we're going to be taking a look at what sort of interest do they have in South Africa and what sort of interest can we have in their country and how that can have an impact on our economies, on our different economies. And starting off with the very first question to you, Ambassador Mr. Salman Al Farisi, can you please tell us a little bit about your experience with South African business community ever since being in South Africa?
Thank you very much, Mr. Bandi. Bandi is very popular name as well in Indonesia. So
yes,
I'm not feeling in South Africa now because I have a conversation with my brother. At least in the name is like in Indonesia. Thank you very much for the again. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and let me express also my sincere appreciation to your team for being with us today. Very good afternoon to all of the audience in this conversation. As answering your first question related my experience with South African business, I think they are very positive. They are quite welcome with the Indonesian presence here in South Africa. although we have still a very few business people from Indonesia operating in this very beautiful country. But mostly very positive with us. They are eager to know about Indonesia. Unfortunately, not every South African business people knows well about Indonesia. This is indeed my challenge as well as my team's challenge on how to give them a lot of awareness about Indonesia.
Okay. On that point, Ambassador, now taking into consideration the rich history between Indonesia and South Africa, noting that diplomatic relations were established from 1994, how would you explain the pattern? Has there been a pattern of growth, or has it been the opposite? Or what have you established over the past years?
I think we have a many in common. We have many in common things. We are as two independent country, Indonesia and South Africa, have a very strong relationship and cooperation at the international community. We are two developing countries with almost similar challenges on the development. So Indonesia and South Africa share the same challenge how to make our development in order in a way to make our people more prosperous and advancing ourselves to be in par with the emerging market.
Now, in relation to that question as well, South Africa, both South Africa and Indonesia are regarded as third world countries. And with that said, the general approach from humans is that when you migrate, you want to migrate to a first world country. And why would a South African move to Indonesia? What sort of business opportunities are there in Indonesia? And why would an Indonesian person come to South Africa to come and do business here?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of opportunities that we can have. For instance, if South Africa for South African to do business in Indonesia, you have a very good experience on the mining, I believe, and then Indonesia is also quite good in the mining sector. So this sector alone, I think, is quite attractive for business activity by South African. But on the modern things, the IT-related industries are now in a high demand in Indonesia. Technology advancement is playing a growing role in Indonesian business expansion, in particular, and the financial services. Finance technology is mushrooming now in Indonesia. I think this kind of activities can be also connected with what you have here in South Africa. I think the digital business is also growing. Although if I see Indonesia now more advanced in the digital business because we have too many startup right now. And then our startup has already in the close collaboration and cooperation with so many well-known startup in the world, including in fact Naspers. Naspers through its investment in Tencent is also investing some amount of money to Indonesian startup company like Gojek, for instance. That's the kind that I think the two business can work together to have more benefit from the growing economy as we know right now.
Ambassador, I love what you said about the connection between the two countries and
Yeah.
the potential that is in the collaboration of South African companies and Indonesian companies. Now, with that said, earlier on you noted that there are a few companies from Indonesia that are currently operating in South Africa. And based on that statement, what would you say? How do you say? How do you think we could enhance or up the numbers? Through I can already think now possibly through collaborations with other South Africans, looking into joint ventures. Because I mean, another point is that you're coming from foreign territory and you're coming to South Africa.
Yeah.
Things like language is a problem. Accessing these emerging markets. So I guess it's a big task that's before your team.
Yes, that's very true. Our main task is how to get to know each other. There is a very few, as I said earlier, that is very few South African business knows about Indonesia. Vice versa, that there are also very few Indonesian business aware about how the business opportunity in South Africa. So that's what we have to do more to promote in matching them together. That's the main the first and foremost challenge that we have right now. The second thing is on how to facilitate their business activities. There are a lot of things that I think we have to work, and then I believe that the two government is now working very seriously on that. Yesterday we just have a meeting, a bilateral meeting consultation between our senior officials on how to create more business enabling business activities between our two countries. So there are a lot of things that we have to work on. Firstly, on the trade facilitation, it's related on the tariff and non-tariff barriers that we have to talk together, or maybe we can see on how we can promote the sectoral cooperation between our countries. Your mining sector is very advanced here as compared to ours in Indonesia, for instance. We can cooperate together on that regard. You have also quite good in the agriculture sector, for instance, and then it's also your agriculture is become a backbone during the COVID. But in Indonesia, we are quite wide areas of agriculture activities which we can also promote together. So that's in fact our two countries is very complementary. But if we don't know each other, then it will be unnecessary waste for our two country.
All right, and Ambassador, on that note, where you speak to the strengths of South Africa, some of the things that we are relatively historically stronger in, are there opportunities for South African service and skilled people, not necessarily just entrepreneurs, but people who are in the service sector who are either electricians, engineers? Are there opportunities for them in your country to go live abroad and work in Indonesia? I mean, considering the fact that you're a nation of 270 million people, the question might be, do you have a lack of skills or maybe perhaps expertise that only we South Africans have, that South Africans look onto and be like, I'm going to go live in Indonesia because they need these sort of skills? Is there that sort of door that's open for South Africans in the service sector?
Yeah, in fact, there are many South Africans who work at the mining company in Indonesia right now. They are mostly engineers who understand quite good on the mining sector. Indeed, on the high skill activities which Indonesia still lag behind on that area can be also done so. So the important thing is on if you have the foreign direct investment in Indonesia, and you have 100 or majority of the share, then you can also have your uh, people on the high skill to be part of the company and work in Indonesia. I think we have a lot of experience on that regard. We just have I think yesterday or even yesterday the president just opened one cell battery company will operate in Indonesia from GE South Korea, and there are some experts coming from that country working in Indonesia. And then I think in the near future they will also build their factory. Hyundai will build their factory on the electric car in Indonesia, and I believe there will be some people at the level of managers also because of their skill and their interest and as a majority of the share, then it's really quite welcome to work and make their own expertise in Indonesia.
And on that note, should South Africans be interested at opportunities in Indonesia? I suppose the first point of reference, I mean, the internet is a very big place to go and look for jobs. But you and your office, is there a sort of...
Sorry, I think
we've just lost Bangi there.
Yeah.
But just to carry on with his question, is there any point of contact? You see, Bangi and I are in synergy, so I can already tell what he's about to ask.
Okay, fine.
So we're just trying to establish what would be the first thing that the South African should do, and also just to go back to the potential business that can come out of South Africa and Indonesia. I think the one thing we also have to recognize is that one of the issues that is before your office is the finding yourself within South Africa, or finding a space where South Africans can recognize you and accept you. Now, again, coming back to making the job opportunities known, are there any efforts from your office to create awareness around your office? Is the office looking into that? And yeah, what can we basically expect from your office?
Yeah, I think the embassy will always facilitate any business meeting, any business inquiries. I think those who are with us at this conversation, I think it's also point of contact that you can meet with and talk with. We are trying to facilitate our best to connect South Africa and Indonesia in this regard. Sorry if we are very sorry if our internet, our website is not quite clear yet, but we are now working on that. And then we have also the trade promotion, Indonesian Trade Promotion Center here in Johannesburg, that you can also talk with, just to see many opportunities on the trade relation between Indonesia and South Africa. I think there are a lot of, as I may say, we have quite good diplomatic infrastructure here. We have also Consul General office in Cape Town, and we have as well honorary consul in Durban. And those are very sportive in making business between our two countries happen.
Okay, I suspect I am back. Can you, lady and gentlemen, hear me?
Yes, you're definitely back.
Okay, I do apologize.
Welcome back again.
I do apologize for that, but yes, Pinky was completely on the mark with what I wanted to ask. I don't know, Pinky, if you've got, or if I can carry on from here?
I just have some similarities that I'm already noting from the ambassador and Arif. So the shirts that you're wearing, that's actually a start because that's very South African. So so
Yes,
we can
this is
look
batik.
into
This is
yes.
batik. Indeed, if we can have a meeting in person, I will have your batik with me.
Yes, exactly. But Maggie, I'm handing it over to you before we start planning parties now.
Yeah,
I am
you know,
available. I
batik
am.
is a very cultural
Oh,
link
we're
between
speaking a
Indonesia and
very
South
similar
Africa.
languages.
Yeah, yeah, you know, back in 1995, I think when President Mandela first visited Indonesia, our late president, President Suharto, gave him a shirt, a batik shirt at the hotel
Oh.
the day before the official ceremony of receiving the VVIP at the time. And then
Oh.
when the official day coming, President Suharto waiting for President Mandela at the palace, presidential palace with a very nice suit at the time. And then when President Mandela get out from the car, President Suharto was quite surprised when President Mandela wearing batik. And from that point, then batik become the official dress of President Mandela. Indeed, it is an honor for us. This is a very honor for using batik as his national dress in South Africa. And indeed, that's alone is a very potential business link between Indonesia
That's
and
true.
South Africa. That's why last year we introduced what we have the 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 fashion design contest done with South African university at the time. I forget the name, and then we create the combination of batik and swaswai, the traditional cloth of South Africa, for the I think wedding gown at the time. So we have to introduce also that batik is not only for men, but batik is also for women. In fact,
Yes,
in a
it's for us.
traditional way, yeah, in traditional way, batik in Indonesia, especially in Java, is more wear by women.
Woman.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well,
And
that's,
then on that note, Ambassador,
Yeah.
there's a point that you mentioned about how fashion is, you've ventured into fashion with South Africa.
Yeah.
And I mean, that involves your modeling, your pageantry, which is actually one of the biggest things in your country. Bangi, I'd like to think you could probably elaborate more on that,
yes.
on the opportunities in that space.
Yes, absolutely. Now, in 2019, our Miss South Africa went on to become Miss Universe, Zuzbini Tunzi, and she also paid a visit to your country. I think it was last year, and there was
Yeah.
massive response from your country in celebration of her and her victory. How is the beauty industry, now that you mentioned that fashion is pretty big and there's a relationship between South Africa and Indonesia from fashion that dates back to 1995 with Tatu Nelson Mandela. How is the beauty industry, the fashion industry in Indonesia? Because in South Africa, we're also quite big within the arts, within the fashion industry and media. How is it set up in Indonesia where we can have relationships in that sector? Because we often at times turn our focus a lot to trade in terms of mining and all of those businesses, but then we forget some of the art businesses. Is there opportunity for relationships between South Africans and Indonesia?
Indeed, there is a big opportunity for the two business on that related sector to do. We also promoting our fashion, product to South Africa. Quite some time we have the Indonesian I think it was made in Indonesia exhibition in Cape Town last 2 years, and then we also have some fashion designer came to Cape Town at that time, and we collaborate with the local partner at that time, and then the designers also invited to one of the fashion event by South Africa, South African fashion event in Durban at that time as well. So that's what we are looking for more cooperation in this regard. That's why now we are working on fashion related activities. Uh, Hopefully, before the end of this year, we will have incubation event to promote the fashion and textile product cooperation between our two countries. Uh, this incubation will indeed lead our two designers to know each other on the market, on the market demand of the two region. Not only between our two countries, but we can also work on how to enter into the third market like the Europe, the US, or even some other countries in our two regions.
Okay, fantastic. Now, with regards to your export market is worth, well, in accordance to a report from 2019, Indonesia's export market is worth 186 billion dollars, which in South African rands, that's about 2.6 trillion rands. And it's made up of a number of things, from liquefied gas to steel, metal, textiles, as we've mentioned, and footwear and automobiles. Now, how much of this is traded between our two nations, or are we still in a position where more can be done for the two nations to trade with each other with regards to that?
Yeah, in fact, our trade relation is way below the potential that we have to. So our the number that we have right now, the trade relation between Indonesia and South Africa is still in the number of 1.4 billion US dollar. So it's still very small as compared to our trade with, for instance, with ASEAN, for instance, with not to mention about our trade with China, but there are a lot of good number that we see the development of the progress between our two sides. I think even during the COVID situation, your demand on our food product from Indonesia is quite high, and then that's why our statistic for the next year hopefully quite good. Maybe we can expect that the statistic or our trade statistic will grow more than 120%. So that's the fact right now. Indeed, we have the situation that beyond our control with the COVID. There is a little bit slowing down on our trade cooperation. In 2020, we experienced a decrease of 20% during that time, but now we see a positive progress on the trade cooperation. there are more and more opportunities that we have to promote in the near future.
I think we've lost Bangi there again with the audio, but I just wanted to add on to what you just said, Ambassador, and I think Bangi is going to completely agree with me, is that one, from your energy alone, I see no reason why Indonesia hasn't fully infiltrated South Africa. So I think it's really, again, just a matter of access, a matter of language and what information is out there. And even with the countless opportunities that you're mentioning, there's so much that can be done, but we need to start off with merging Indonesia and South Africa. And perhaps we can actually challenge you, Ambassador, and see in the next couple of months, what can we expect from you that's going to cover this point about access and synergies? And we can see what you've done.
Sure. You know, hopefully you will see the Jerusalem in the Indonesian version in the near future. We just preparing for that. We just combine the music with the Indonesian nuance there, and I think just today I think the Indonesian ladies is preparing for the dance to be performed at least virtually in the our YouTube. You will see how the Indonesian way of combining the arts from South African and some little Indonesian nuance there.
That sounds amazing. I don't know if we have Bangi back yet.
I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, I do truly apologize for the technicalities. Now, here I am, and I'm thinking, okay, I'd like to take advantage of some of the opportunities that I'm hearing of in Indonesia. As a South African, what are the regulations, what are the restrictions that I can anticipate if I'm going to try either find a job in Indonesia or maybe to go try and do business with Indonesia? I know in other parts of Asia, if I want to open a business in other parts of Asia, I need to be in business partnership with a person with a citizen from that country. What are the restrictions when it comes to Indonesia for me as a South African wanting to do business that side?
Yeah, in fact, indeed, on the regulation point of view, indeed, we are trying to make progress from time to time because now the easing of doing business has become part of the business mantra. That's why Indonesia is trying also to make ourselves more and more comfortable to business people. Uh, and as my note from my note, I see that from early this year, we have introduced what we call it as the omnibus law as part of making our business more welcoming to the international business people. Indonesia has opened up most business classification to 100% foreign ownership. Indeed, there are some restriction because we are still, however, we are still the developing countries, and then we have also to protect some of the interests of our small business. There are areas that we have restrict of 100% business ownership in Indonesia, like a small construction firm, and then small accommodation services like guest house, villas, or one-star hotel, and then like services such as laundries, barber shop, and beauty salons. It is a small services, and then also uh, some small retail business like what we have here, like spasa, something like that. So we have also still protect the business that indeed related to the some drug, like we are not opening up our business for cultivation of marijuana, for instance. Although Indonesia is very pristine and very good on the marijuana production because the soil is very good for that. But we are still restrict. We still restrict
We should visit
that
Indonesia.
business.
Sounds like a plan. It sounds like
Not
a
like
plan.
our neighbor in Lesotho. They already have the cultivation marijuana plantation in Lesotho. But apart from that 5 points that I mentioned, I think it's quite open. So I will encourage that if you come and do business in Indonesia, choose your right partner. And once you are partnering, and then you register your company in Indonesia, even you can have your own house with the name of your company, indeed, not as a house belong to South African or you American or whoever, but the houses belong to the company that you establish in Indonesia.
Oh.
And just to add on to what you're saying, Bangi, would you like to go first?
Yes, you can continue.
Just to add on to what you're saying, Ambassador, is I think the other thing is also just creating that awareness, or maybe discussing the whole point of collaborating with Indonesians, like owning a business together. One of the biggest problems that you're facing right now is that you're struggling to gain access into our market. So now imagine as a South African trying to branch out on your own in a place where you don't speak the language, you don't know the people, you don't know the culture. So
Yes.
partnering up is actually a good thing. And it's
Yes.
just also creating awareness around it, that you want to work with someone who is from there. So you can slowly learn the ropes and yeah, take it from there. Bangi, I
Yeah,
will go to.
yeah,
Yes, Ambassador.
I couldn't agree more on that point. I think partnership is a key for us to expand our business in the two countries. So as you might know, you have the potential here. You just the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is just on board, on the table right now. It's bid to bid in operation right now, and we in Indonesia we have also potential of market, big market. Indonesia alone has 270 million size of market that very potential for business. And if it combined with what we call it as regional economic comprehensive partnership, we have 11 member of countries ranging from Malaysia, Philippines to the ASEAN countries, to Australia, New Zealand, and China, Japan. So this is a big market. We cover 29.6% of world population. So it's very big market, and even we cover also 30% of the world GDP and 27.4% of world trade volume right now. So it is in terms of foreign direct investment with the RCEP, we have about 29.8% of the FDI. So it's very big opportunity for the two countries to engage and to collaborate indeed.
Ambassador, those are fascinating numbers that you just mentioned in there. And so here I am as a South African business again, and I'm very keen on these things. Now, access to funds is usually one of the biggest Achilles for business people. Now, what sort of financial institutions are the institutions in Indonesia that provide financial or non-financial support for potential business partnerships between South Africans and Indonesia?
So, Ambassador, what Bangi is saying is, will we get money from Indonesia?
Absolutely.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, to facilitate business, although the financial support may be not as big as we expect as compared to the developed countries, but we have an institution with support business. The first institution is our Exim Bank. Um, if we have a collaborative project, for instance, as far as there are a lot of Indonesian product and companies will involve in the project, then the Exim Bank will indeed support the financing need of the project. We have we have a program what we call as national interest account. This is the account that the government put the money through this Exim Bank to support the Indonesian company that have a collaboration or have a business in foreign countries, for instance. Or if Mr. Bangi have a project on infrastructure here in South Africa or in Lesotho and wherever else, and then the project is very feasible, then you have the Indonesian company to do so with involving some Indonesian product to be exported to complete the project. Then Exim Bank indeed can support that kind of activities. As example of the financing by Exim Bank, we just recently we financed the procurement of aircraft from Indonesia by Senegal, for instance. There are 3 aircraft procured by the government of Senegal from Indonesian company called PT Dirgantara Indonesia. We produce turboprop aircraft CN 235 and at least CN 235 and then CN 212, which is very suitable for the African market. I think it's also suitable for the tourism on the what we have here and the safari tourism, because the aircraft can land in a very short airport or even a stripe on the airport like what we have in Kruger, for instance. It's very easily and quite reliable. And the CN 235 is a very compact aircraft because it can be used for from the civilian activities, business activities to the military activity as well. So we finance the procurement from Senegal to procure the aircraft from Indonesia. We also finance the construction of about 3,000, almost 4,000 unit of apartment in Algeria by our company, infrastructure company of Wijaya Karya in Indonesia. So that's kind of activities which we can do. So be partnered with our company from Indonesia. Another facility that we just established right now is what we call as the Indonesian Investment Authority, or AINA. This is a kind of sort of sovereign wealth that we just recently established in November 2020. So the it has the authority to managing the investment of in our central government to become a trusted partner for both internationally domestic sector. So its core mandate is to invest together with the investment partner in sovereign commercially viable project and investment opportunity in Indonesia. So um, uh, there are progress on the investment,
Definitely.
not only based on the regulation, but we are also trying to facilitate the investment and the economic activities with the financial institution which fit with the business activities.
All right, Ambassador, thank you so much. We've got about 5 or so minutes left in our chats and conversations. Pinky, I don't know if you've got one more question. I'd like to squeeze in 2 more questions, but I don't know if on your side there's something that you'd like to add in as a question, maybe perhaps before we close.
Let's start with you, and if I have any comments, I'll just add at the end.
Okay, so Ambassador, what I'd like to know is that are there any success stories of business between South Africa and Indonesia? Are there any businesses from Indonesia that have come to South Africa and have done well, or the other way around, where South African businesses are doing well in Indonesia?
Yeah, I think there are about 38 project of South African investment in Indonesia. Yeah, although this is quite small in number of total investment value, but still there are some activities there. This is on small investment activities, and most of them also a partner have a partner with Indonesian investment. In fact, here in South Africa, we have very few business people operating in this in this country, but business with South Africa is quite growing right now. So if we have a very good business on the food product, including the palm oil, and then even the food product increasing quite significantly during the COVID, because people might not buy any new dress, but they will buy food every day because they need food. Even during the lockdown, people keen to eat maybe 4 times a day rather than 3 times a day. So because they are staying at home, so that's why the food product is increasing during the COVID. That's if you call it as the success story. I think one of the success story of Indonesian doing business in South Africa is mostly on the food product, and then from palm oil to the instant noodle. So if you aware about the Indonesian instant noodle with the Indo in the front, Indomie, it's a very famous instant noodle in South Africa right now.
All right, Ambassador. Well, in closing, in relation to the Free State Market Access that we're going to be hosting in the coming week, actually, do you have do you have any words of encouragement for participation for trade between South Africans and Indonesia, in particular to the entrepreneurs who are in the Free State?
Indeed, let know each other.
Yes.
Without knowing each other, I don't believe that we can we can do partnering. So let get to know each other. I think, and that's our main objective to having business activity outside of Pretoria. So because we have to know each other.
Yes.
To be frank, that I came to Free State is only just passed by when I went to Lesotho.
Ah.
It's good to visit once in Free State. I believe there are a lot of opportunity that we can explore with your business people in Free State.
Oh, yes, there are indeed. And would love to host you for a lunch one day when you come through to the Free State, and we can explore more of this conversation in person with you and your office.
Sure. My
Outside of
pleasure indeed.
outside of that, thank you very much, gentlemen and lady. Pinky, any last words from your side?
From my side, Ambassador, I think your energy is amazing. Thank you to your team, Arif and Michael. We look forward to seeing more work from your office.
Sure. Miss Pinky, since you are in Johannesburg, please make your time
So stop by.
to see us in the Sandton City Mall.
Okay, Sandton
And
City
this
Mall.
this this Saturday we have the in-store promotion in Sandton City Mall.
Okay.
It's and then on Saturday tomorrow we will have cultural performance. There are two dances, Indonesian dances that you can enjoy.
I'll
So
definitely be
please
there.
come to us. Promise us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome indeed.
There you go, Pinky. You've got a plan for the weekend.
I have plans for tomorrow.
This has been an incredible conversation that we've had with the Ambassador Extraordinary of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Salman Al Farisi, who is the Ambassador Extraordinary of the Republic of Indonesia to South Africa, but not only to South Africa, also to Lesotho, to Botswana, and to Eswatini as well. And outside of that, we're going to be having more of these conversations with other ambassadors in the near future. And thank you very much for tuning in. We will be keeping you informed right here on Free State Online as to when our next conversation is. Please do us a favor, share this particular conversation so that more of your friends who are interested in businesses between the two countries can also see this conversation. And let's spread the love and have everybody participate in this conversation. Until
Thank you
then,
very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
until then, have yourselves a fantastic and safe weekend.
Thank you.